Hey everybody, this is Derek for the Grumpy Guy Show, talking about episode number 106. We like it because we don't like people. Recorded on Wednesday, August 30th, 2023. Tonight's topics: back to school, rich privilege. Can I see your receipt? Good evening everybody, welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
I'm Ryan McAllister.
So, got to apologize last week, once again. Life got in the way. Just, way too much happening, between suddenly not having any rain and the grass being dry, and getting my youngest prepared for college and up to college just took up all the time that there was. And this is kind of a side thing. We're not getting enough to get paid for it, getting enough views or anything to get paid for it, and
not even close.
Yeah, and I'm not worried about it at this point, but it's the first thing that gets put off when life gets in the way. But that's all right. We're here. I've noticed that. I haven't looked recently, but we've supposedly been getting more views on YouTube. Of course, those views are very short, so I don't know how much actual views we're getting. One of the nice things with Google is, it'll tell you the average amount of time that people are watching. And, wow. Yeah, it looks like the largest is about 1 minute and 54. Woo!
Wow.
Smoking.
Yikes.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll keep it going for a little while and see what happens. But details like that are not something that I get on Spotify, at least not that I'm aware of. Haven't actually looked in a while. Let's see. No, it just tells us the number of plays. Doesn't tell us how long each play is. Yeah. Just, what can you do?
Anywho.
Yeah, anyhow. So we'll stop with looking at things that are kind of blah and depressing. And we'll jump right into the first topic that we have.
What do we got tonight?
So, everybody knows, and of course, I just said that we sent my youngest off to college. So the news was talking about back to school costs and how the average person is going to spend $800. It wasn't $800. It was $1,100 per student.
Yikes.
And, they weren't actually talking about college, which, obviously your brother's going to college since he graduated from high school. I'm pretty sure we mentioned that. But, he's going to college. These were costs associated with sending kids back to high school, middle school, elementary school.
Yeah.
I'm like, $1,100. So then they're going along and they start talking, and it was easy to figure out why people are spending $1,100. They're talking about buying new tablets, new computers. I'm like, wait a minute. Just about every school supplies some kind of computer nowadays, whether that's a Chromebook or a Surface or something. They provide something for the students to use. You don't have to buy one for them.
Exactly.
So I'm like, okay, so, now you're talking tablets. They make sure to throw tablets in, which, let's face it, there's really only 2 tablets on the market that are worth anything. The first one is the iPad. Either one, whether you're talking, I don't even know what the hell they are now. iPad Pro, iPad Mini, blah, blah. I don't know.
iPad Max.
But you've got the iPad, and then you've got Samsung. Those are really the only two that are worth anything. And guess what? They are both expensive. Mm-hmm. I believe the cheapest quality Samsung tablet that you can get is like $650 or $700. And, well, imagine this. I'm pretty sure that's right about the same price as the lowest priced iPad.
Why do students even need a tablet?
They don't.
When they can just use the Chromebook that the school provides.
Yeah, and if the school isn't providing a Chromebook, they're providing a MacBook Mini or Microsoft Surface. They're providing something. So these students don't need it.
Exactly.
So it should not be counted in the back-to-school cost.
No, it shouldn't.
So they're talking...
It shouldn't even be on the supply list.
No, it shouldn't. But so they're talking $1,100. So now let's take out that $650, assuming that you're going to get them the cheap tablet. Mm-hmm. Because they said tablet and laptop. Okay. So you take out $650. Now, $1,100 minus $650. Let's just make it simple. Say it's $600. You got it on sale. Right? Mm-hmm. So now you're down to $500. Okay. So now they also said a tablet and a laptop. Okay, so $500. You're not going to get a MacBook. I don't think you're going to get a Microsoft Surface. So you're looking at a really cheap laptop or a Chromebook. So,
you don't even need a laptop. Usually the school provides them.
I know, but I'm going by this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going by what the news was reporting, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you get yourself you get your kid a cheap Chromebook, $150. Okay, so now you got $500.
Cheap.
Yeah, they are cheap. So you got $500 left after you took out the cost of the tablet that you supposedly bought them. Take $150 off because, well, you've supposedly bought them a Chromebook as well, or a laptop. So what's that leave you with? Well, it leaves you with $350. So we got to blow things out of proportion, putting all the blame on inflation and all this other crap, when the truth of the matter is, it's just the news lying to you. Because again, as we've stated, your child does not need a laptop. Your child does not need a tablet. And, if they do need or want one of those, they probably already have one. You don't need to buy a new laptop or tablet every year.
No, you don't.
Simply
put. It's like
the
people who go crazy and buy the new iPhone every year. It's stupid.
Yeah. The only ones that should be doing that are the people doing reviews. If you're not somebody who does reviews, you should not be buying a new tablet or phone or laptop every single year. I mean, I got my laptop when you graduated high school. Or, no, when you went to college. So a couple of years ago. A couple of years old. I'm not looking to replace it. I thought of replacing it to give to your brother and, upgrade mine, but it just didn't work out. The ones I wanted were too expensive. So I bought him a lower cost tablet or a lower cost laptop.
Yeah.
Your laptop I gave you. It was a couple of years old when I gave it to you. And
every laptop I've ever owned, you've given me.
Yeah,
I haven't had to pay anything.
That's not even the point. The point is, if there's no reason whatsoever you need one every year. The biggest problem that...
And I've only had two, and you've given them both to me.
Yeah, but the reason back in the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s that you upgraded your laptop or 80s and 90s was desktop, but the only reason you upgraded your computer was because Windows required the additional horsepower. Now, manufacturers are ticked off at Microsoft because they're not pushing it. So these manufacturers aren't selling computers like they used to. You get computers, they're good now. I mean, you get a good quality computer, and it's good for 5 years or more, easily. Unless you drop it. You know? Either that or your dog steps on it or something along those lines. You know, some kind of mishap.
Or in Mom's case, the dog jumps on it.
Yeah. But, you know, it's some kind of mishap. It's not... It's some kind of mishap. It's not that the hardware isn't good enough. The hardware is plenty good enough. It's just people, you know, some people, they listen to the news. Oh, the news said that I have to get my kid a new laptop, so I got to get him a new laptop. No, don't listen to the news.
No, you don't.
You know, and once
the school provides that.
Well, you know, let's say you're in a district where the school hasn't upgraded things yet.
Okay.
You know, because there are some out there that don't do it.
Well, those schools have computer labs where the kids can go and use desktops.
Either that, or they don't rely on computers for the education at all. Mm-hmm. Which is more likely the case. You know, because if you aren't giving students laptops to use, then you can't require them to be connected to the school to do their schoolwork. That's all there is to it. You have to provide them time during school to do it. You know? So, in that case, you still don't need a new laptop.
Exactly.
You know,
if your laptop works just fine, you don't need a new one.
And here's an idea, folks. Once your laptop starts slowing down to the point where Windows just crawls and can't handle it, first, you can try reinstalling Windows, because Windows is tied to the motherboard of your computer, which means when you try to install it, it's going to what's called phone home back to Microsoft and say, hey, this is the serial number of the motherboard that I have. Is this good to install? And if it is, which if you bought your computer with Windows, it's going to say yes, then it installs no charge. That can speed it up. The second thing, if that doesn't work, try Linux. There are plenty of them out there that are designed for beginners who switch over. Tons of them. Doesn't take much research to find it. You know, there's two that jump right out that are really truly aimed at people crossing over. One is called Linux Mint, the other is called Ubuntu. Those two are very, very user-friendly and aimed at people switching over for the first time. And, you know, Ubuntu, I don't really recommend that too much, but Linux Mint is a very good operating system. And then as you get farther along, you know, you're going to find that either of those options are a little heavy, they're slower. So then you start experimenting with others. You know, right now Ryan's running Garuda Linux. He's having problems. I think it's because Garuda's not updating the way they used to, so we're going to install something else. It's as simple as that. As long as you keep your... You know, you can either have an external SSD like this right here, which are fairly cheap now, to store your files. Or you can use, I mean, Google gives you 10 gigabytes for free.
I don't know.
You know, you can store it there. Or you could go to Dropbox. They give you a couple gigabytes for free. Or Microsoft OneDrive gives you some for free. I mean, there's plenty of places out there where you can get some free cloud storage to back up your important documents. And then it doesn't matter how many times you switch your Linux distribution trying to find one that's right. But, you know, there's back to the point. There's no point in updating every single year just because, you know, the manufacturers want you to and the news tells you should. Or it's not that the news is telling you should. The news is telling you that everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why people do it, because everybody else is doing it.
Yeah. You know, and it's utterly ridiculous if you ask me. I mean, there's no reason that just because everybody else is upgrading means you need to.
That's why I don't do things, because everybody else is doing it.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump on to the next topic. And this one will be pretty quick, I think. So the next one, someplace, I can't remember where it is now, or where it was now, but I think it was out in California.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, some woman who owned a business was killed because she had a pride flag hanging outside of her business.
Oh.
All I can think is, grow up, people. If you don't like the fact that a business supports people who are part of the LGBTQ community, then go someplace else.
Go somewhere where they don't allow it, like Russia.
Yeah.
Or the Middle East.
I mean, seriously, if you don't believe in something, then go somewhere else. There's no reason to kill somebody for their beliefs. It's just ridiculous. It's stupid. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we're headed backwards with things. With all the racial stuff that's happening.
If the business owner herself was actually a part of the LGBT community, then that would be a hate crime.
Well, it's still a hate crime even without that, because why did you kill this woman? Well, because she supports them. That's a hate crime. It might be a stretch. I don't know how well.
It's a bit more of a stretch if she isn't.
Yeah,
but it's obvious if she is.
Yeah, but I think
much more simple and to the point.
I think in the United States we need to step back and look at things. And you see all these shirts, before you go with derogatory comments about LGBTQ, maybe you should think about the fact that could be somebody that you love. Well, you know what? That's a stupid statement too. It shouldn't matter whether or not it's somebody you love. It's somebody.
Exactly.
That's all there is to it.
Somebody with loved ones.
It's somebody. It's a person.
Exactly. Think about how their loved ones feel.
Yep.
Have some empathy for fuck's sake.
Yeah. But, like I said, short one because we've talked about that in many ways, shapes, and forms. It's my thoughts are it's along the same lines as racism. Just because somebody's different doesn't mean that you should be killing them. Just because you're afraid. That's what it comes down to.
If you don't like a certain race, go to an ethno-state that's the same race as you.
Yeah, good luck finding that.
Exactly.
All right. So the next one, our favorite politician.
Oh no!
Yeah.
What did he do now?
So
is this about turning himself in?
Yes, this is about the whole surrender crap.
Oh, that mugshot's
privilege.
Funny.
So
have you seen his mugshot?
No. Well, of course I have. It's all over the frickin' news. He's using his mugshot to get donations and blah blah. Who cares? Mm-hmm. I don't need to see him. But so what this topic is about is privilege. He's always saying things like we had talked about before, where he said, "I'm doing this for you." And of course, that's just bullshit.
That's laughable.
But so the privilege
aren't doing it for us; they're doing it for themselves.
Yeah, but the privilege that he has here, because he's constantly saying that he's just a common person.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
he was born into money.
Yeah, he was born into money and he's lost it all and just lied his way through things. But so. Because of the fact that he's wealthy and, former
he's sandwiched between two common man presidents.
Yeah.
At least somewhat close.
Yeah.
They have a common man background.
Yeah. Well, maybe not.
More so Obama than Biden.
But, so the privilege that Trump got was having a team of his lawyers negotiate a deal for his surrender.
Oh.
So you see, if you or I did something where we were, told that we had to go and surrender, we wouldn't be able to negotiate a deal.
No.
It's either, well, you surrender, or we're going to put a warrant out for your arrest, and we're going to arrest you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no negotiations on this crap.
Exactly.
But, because he's the former president, and, he's wealthy and can afford things, there's a negotiation for the surrender. That's
Exactly.
just stupid.
It is.
Half of the point of all these lawsuits against him are to show that nobody's above the law. Well, now it's very, very clear that
he clearly thinks he's above
law.
the law.
It's not even just that he thinks it. The Attorney General actually being willing to negotiate this crap tells me that he's above the law. She's stating he's above the law.
Mm-hmm.
Because the law is plain and simple. If you're charged like this,
so is his successor.
yeah, if you are charged like this, plain and simple, you have no ability to negotiate unless you're wealthy. And until that crap stops, the divide is going to get to be worse and worse.
I don't think he's going to end up going to prison.
I don't think he's going to either.
Because he's above the law. He's a president. He's a politician.
Yeah,
he's wealthy.
It's more along the lines.
The only
of,
wealthy person.
I don't think they're going to be able to prove.
Very few wealthy people go to jail.
Yeah, he'll buy his way out somehow.
When in reality, most of them probably should be in jail.
Yeah. And in this case, there's clear evidence that he's admitted to this. And he said, I've done nothing wrong. Well, you did something wrong. You asked them to find votes. You asked them to get rid of votes. That's wrong, dumbass. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who you are. That's wrong.
Exactly.
But, until something...
He probably asked them to create fake votes.
They don't have that on audio, at least not that they've played.
They don't, but there's a possibility that he did. And all this stuff that he did, he's claiming that the other guy did.
Yeah.
Which is even more laughable.
Well, the worst part is, half the stuff that he's been accused of, he was constantly saying, oh, lock her up. That was his whole freaking chant through the campaign against Clinton.
One of his chants.
Yeah, lock her up. Well, should we lock you up now? Oh, no. I didn't do anything wrong. Well, you know what? She didn't think she did anything wrong either, so give me a freaking break.
Lock them both up.
Yeah. But, again, this is why I say that sooner or later, there's going to be a revolution here in the United States. It's a matter of time.
Give it time.
Yeah, it's just going to happen because at some point, the lower classes are going to have enough of the privilege that the upper classes have. And
hopefully it's through a third party, peacefully through a third party getting elected to a bunch of positions.
Yeah.
A common person third party.
The problem is... there's just not enough money.
Exactly.
We've talked about it before. Campaigns now are just so outrageously expensive. Mm-hmm. They're talking about Trump has raised, like $100 million or something like that. And I guarantee all of that money is going to be spent.
He shouldn't need to.
No, the whole thing, and the other problem is what's going to happen once we get past the primaries and, Biden is officially the nominee, what's going to happen? Well, basically, he's going to stop doing his duties as president and start campaigning. Yeah. To me, it should be a situation of when you're in office, plain and simple, you're done. You don't get to campaign again. Sure, you want to go out and do debates. Okay, I get that.
Have at it.
However, to go out on the campaign trail where you're wasting millions and millions of taxpayer dollars going around campaigning, and you're not actually performing any kind of duties whatsoever, as in this case, president, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And it should not be allowed.
Yep.
And what that would do is,
if you tried, it should basically convince the people that you should lose. You should not be in office anymore.
Yeah, and the whole premise behind this thought is that if you are doing a good enough job in office, you should not have to campaign. You should be able to live on what you've done while you're in office.
You should not have to campaign yourself. You could have other people that have endorsed you go out and campaign for you.
Yeah, I suppose, but you really shouldn't have to.
And I think that's what incumbent presidents should do as re-election campaigns.
Yeah. And I mean,
have their endorsements go out and advertise the hell out of them.
Yeah. But the other thing that can happen too is if you're looking to move up, like DeSantis, you want to become president, okay, your governorship ends. Soon as you start campaigning, your governorship is done.
Yeah.
Even if you're going from like the House of Representatives to the Senate, soon as you start running for that Senate position, you're done as a representative.
Yep.
And what these two things will do is it's going to create some turnover. Or if you're
lieutenant governor trying to go for governor.
Yeah. What these things would do is it would create some turnover in politics, because suddenly you're going to realize what a crappy job people are doing. Mm-hmm. And you're going to realize that they're only going out shaking your hand so that you get your vote.
They like to talk about their record.
Yeah. Let your record stand. If your record is so great and so wonderful, let it stand. Let it get you reelected.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to. And none of this is going to happen because the people who would have to make it happen are the ones that would the ones that would lose their jobs.
Exactly.
It's just like we've talked about
Most
before.
Most of Congress.
It's just like we've talked about before. They're never going to make it so that they can't get a raise.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to change it, so that
they're just going
the
to keep
people
giving
have to
themselves
vote.
Raises.
Yeah. They're not going to make it so that you and I have to vote to allow them to get a raise. No. They're going to make it so they can give themselves a raise. Yeah, I think I deserve a raise. Let's get one. Mm-hmm. They're going to do that. Just like term limits. Never going to happen because they're the ones that have to put the term limits on.
Exactly.
They're not going to do that.
Oh, I think I should stay in office a little longer.
Yeah. And what's his face there?
Even though I just had a stroke.
Yeah. What's his face?
Or fell down
Cruz.
the stairs.
Ted Cruz. He actually proposed something, for term limits. And it was just a political stunt because...
Yeah, I don't believe that was genuine.
Oh, I'm sure it was genuine. He truly proposed it and he wanted it.
He ran for Senate that he would step down after 2 terms. People are saying he's about to run for a 3rd term in the Senate.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Same thing happened
with Rand Paul.
What he did
Rand
with
Paul
that
is in his 3rd term in the Senate, despite saying that we need term limits.
Yeah. Well, what Cruz did in that bill that he put out there, he made it so that basically he and anybody currently in office would be able to run until like 2036, which is well after he would be retired anyhow.
You never know. I mean,
I'm not saying that he couldn't go farther than that, but basically what he was doing is saying, okay, well, whoever comes in after me is screwed.
It's possible that... think about it. Dianne Feinstein and Chuck Grassley are in their 90s.
Yeah. What could end up causing some kind of limits as far as age and everything is Feinstein's health, and the fact that there was once where she literally didn't even know that the vote had happened, and all she had to do was agree. It came to her and she started spouting off why she supported it. And somebody sitting next to her said, no, we're voting now. Oh. And then somebody else leaned over and said, you just have to say yay or nay. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my God, this lady's so clueless. And yet she's in office and allowed to have that. It's just not right.
Exactly.
It's not right. But that right there, plus McConnell and his health issues lately, that could actually put age limits on things. Maybe.
On top of that, Strom Thurmond was 100 and still in the Senate.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah. And the biggest problem that we have is the fact that, these folks, they get to the point where they are truly not useful in the Senate. Because, you look at Dianne Feinstein, I guarantee she doesn't know what a cell phone is. Mm-hmm. And it's not even just a cell phone. She probably doesn't use a computer. She's relying on her staff to actually do things for her and give it to her on paper.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. And that's why so many people say that we need to put age limits, because so many of these people just do not understand technology. Technology is moving so much faster than what we get for turnover in politics, that these politicians have no clue about half of what's going on or half of the technology. They don't know anything about it.
Exactly.
And it's just, it's part of the reason that we're getting put behind the rest of the world. All right, folks. So, one last topic. And this one...
Okay, what do we got?
This one really kills me.
Uh-oh.
So anybody who goes to Walmart, if you go to the self-checkout, which I'm not getting into this whole, I don't work for Walmart bullshit. Because I like the self-checkout because, number one, before we lost the ability to just use their bags, I could bag stuff the way I wanted. Okay? I don't need a double bag for a freaking gallon of milk. One bag will work. So I got to bag stuff my own way. So I got fewer bags, made it a hell of a lot easier. But, number two, I don't like people. So if I can avoid dealing with people, I'm going to. All right?
Same here.
So plain and simple, I don't care what your feelings are as far as self-checkout. But, this story is about self-checkout.
But we like it. So
if you use it, they offer you the ability to not print a receipt. I believe there's a choice of having it texted to you, having it emailed, printing it, or not printing it, getting no receipt. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm printing it because I know these idiots. So we were up there, dropping off your brother, and we went because we didn't know what his roommate was going to have. If his roommate had a really large refrigerator, we weren't going to buy one. Well, turned out his roommate had a small refrigerator. Okay, no big deal. So we'll go and buy one. So we went to Walmart. And, we go through the self-checkout. And as we're walking out, the greeter, who, first and foremost, he wasn't old like most of them. But, first and foremost, I believe what he did is against the law in New York. But second, annoying as hell. So I'm walking out. He sees me walk out of the self-checkout. And I'm walking over to go out the door. Can I see your receipt? So the reason I say I believe it's illegal in New York is because I'm pretty damn sure that they have to have a reason to believe I am stealing in order to request to see my receipt.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Second, why in the hell would you ever offer to not give me a receipt, printed receipt, if there's a chance somebody at the door is going to say, can I see your receipt? That is so asinine, it's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously. Unless you think I'm stealing from you, and you've got some form of proof to show that I'm stealing from you, get the hell out of my face.
Exactly.
But, as he was saying that, I looked at him and I said, well, it's a good damn thing I printed my receipt. No, isn't it? And he just kind of looked at me. I'm like, what if I didn't print it? Or even if I said, well, text it to me. Guess what? Inside of that store, I wasn't getting text messages because, your mother and your brother went one way and I went someplace else to save a little bit of time. Yeah. Sent a message, said, okay, where are you? We didn't get that message until we got out in the parking lot. It's just the way things are. If you're someplace that has weak coverage, you get inside a building and the coverage gets a lot worse.
Yep.
So what if he said, well, I need to see your receipt, and I had it sent to me via text or even email, neither of which I was getting inside the store? What am I going to say? Oh, well, come on outside the store with me. It's just
stupid.
It's utterly ridiculous. I get that you're putting this out there and doing this to save the planet, but stop your bullshit, Walmart. This isn't about saving the planet. This is about saving an extra 10 cents for that stupid little 5 inches of paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dumb. So worried about saving money and making profits. I don't know. I mean, I've been shopping less and less at Walmart, and if it wasn't for the fact that it was the only place up there, I would have turned right around, walked over to the service desk, said, give me a refund right now.
Yeah, that's understandable. Because that's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm truly at a point where I don't care that it costs more money for me to go shop at Wegmans to get things I can't get at BJ's and Aldi's. Don't care. I've just had it, They're so pushy and such jackasses that it's not even funny.
It's worth it because overall Walmart isn't all that great.
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting
the prices are the only thing keeping them around.
Yeah, and their prices aren't all that much better now.
Of course they are.
No, they're not that much better. But anyhow, folks, so it's a long show, and I'm sure you've heard that music starting up in the background.
And that means good night.
We'll see ya.